everybody. My name is Steve Sorensen. I'm a data protection specialty engineer for Ahead, and today we're showing our demo that we put together in partnership with Rubrik for identity protection. As you can see, we're on a global dashboard. This is a great place to start for the demo, right? So once here, and once you're logged in to your tenant or RSC, I'll be able to go to your menu, click on Identity Resilience. As you can see, we've got active violations on this dashboard already. There are many insights, types of violations. It shows pretty much a summary of the dashboard of what you would expect from Rubrik. I'll go to our inventory here. And as you can see, we've got a parent domain with 2 data centers, a child domain, Entra ID syncing from an on-prem, Rubrik Edge protecting domain controllers, and we've got a SaaS protection for Entra ID. This demo walks through 3 phases: posture visibility, change detection and rollback, and automated force recovery. And the outcome that we're really looking for is a faster time to trust identity. So first we'll talk about our identity posture visibility. So if we go into the dashboard, you can see active violations. So there's 2 ways to get to our violations. I click here, violations, go to violations, and we can go over here to 330 number, just click on the dashboard there, and it'll give us our current violations. So these violations were intensely introduced into the lab, and Rubrik automatically surfaced them. Right away, Rubrik is continually evaluating the Active Directory automatically, right, in its posture. So you can see we have low, medium, to high ratings for the criticality of all of our alerts. We've got autonomous directory access. We've got password not required by some of the accounts. We've got Kubernetes pre-auth disabled on some of the accounts, excessive delegation, privileged group sprawl, and we got some admin protected account changes that are not good. Note something important here. Not only does Rubrik show and identify these issues, but you can go ahead and investigate each violation. So you can see that there's 56 violations for delegating. We'll use this first one as an example. We're going to investigate violations, which will give us all objects that have been detected as being affected, right? So notice something important here. Rubrik doesn't just say it's misconfigures other issues, but you can dig in even deeper and get into the details. It explains why the issue is dangerous, and also gives you a remediation process. Now, it's great, a big differential for Rubrik. It gives you a button to actually quickly remediate the problem. So you click here, go to the main controller, click on here, it'll remediate those issues. Now this, guys, is attacker visibility, not just configuration hygiene. Before breach, this reduces the blast radius. Now we're going to talk about identity change detection. So one great things that we can do here is we can look at protecting. For example, we'll go into Entra ID and we'll click on one of these snapshots, right? Let's say we're mid-incident and we got hit. Snapshots are taken daily, and Rubrik allows us to compare the identity state across that time. So we can go here to recover. There's 2 types of recovery. We go full recovery or granular recovery. So we click on granular recovery. And what this allows us to do is compare current objects, attributes, to the snapshot live. So we see object changes, group membership modifications, attribute changes, who changed it, when it happened. This is a forensic level visibility without deploying additional tooling, right? So if a user was elevated, we can see it. Change was done, we can see it. So we'll go to ENSA, we'll select attributes here. Now, one thing, if you notice, as it's pulling this up, that there is a filter at the top right. It says show altered attributes only. So if we take off that filter, this will quickly show you what was modified in the user and allow you to see that this actually has been affected and needs to be recovered. So as you can see the snapshot value versus the live environment value. You scroll down and you can see that they're all the same. No changes, which is also validated by turning on the filter here, which compares them, no results. So you can recover any of these objects and granularly, right? So speaking of that, let's go to our Microsoft Active Directory here. As you can see, we can do a forest recovery, one of the crown jewels of Rubrik, but we're not going to do that right now. Instead, we're going to go to our domain controllers that's being protected, and we'll look at the snapshots here. So we'll go to one of the successful ones, hit recover, same kind of menu. We can do granular or control or recover the complete domain controller. Now in Active Directory, we have different types of objects besides just users and groups. We have computers, configuration, domain controllers, for instance, SKUs, keys, all these different items that can be recovered. Now what's great is yet again, you can compare the attributes to current attributes to the snapshot value attributes, right? It looks like there has been some changes. We lost login, logon counts, password last sets, USN changed. So there has been some different changes, which are here. Let's take off this attribute only. We can see all the attributes. As you can see, it highlights everything that has been changed, and I'll show you what has been changed. Now, what's great about granular rollback is also termed precision recovery. This is where Rubrik differentiates. We are surgically undoing a bad change. We can restore specific objects, specific attributes, restore group memberships. This avoids a business-wide rollback. So you don't have a full DC restore, no downtime, no reversion of healthy changes, only the ones that are bad. Just precision correction. This dramatically reduces operational disruption in event of recovery. Now I'll show you forest recovery. Now let's assume a worst case. Domain controllers are compromised, trust is broken, you cannot trust production. Navigate here, go into Active Directory, and you can hit Start Recovery. You can click on the latest snapshot, recover to alternative Windows hosts or to the original host, so to original. You can do automatic DNS, or we can enter our own, or we can leave what is currently there. For each domain you selected, we can select the recovery option, confirm which DC to recover, and we have to put in the domain credentials. All right, here, we'll go ahead and put in my username, password. All right, so here are the recovery details. As you can see, go to reset the password, domain configuration, settings. All the metadata is going to be cleaned up. Then we hit recover. Now, this process we can't show here. It can take a few hours to do. Last time I did it for this environment, it took just about 2 hours. Look down as I've gone into events, event logs, pulled up an event log from the forest recovery done before. As you can see, I kicked it off at 12:40, completed the Active Directory forest restore at about 1:33. So this took about an hour to do. Successfully recover a full forest. Now, this is orchestrated recovery, guys, not just a runbook. It's very simple. It's automated sequencing, DNS configurations handle, clean DC promotion. It's a repeatable workload. So if you've ever had to do an Active Directory forest restore before, manually using Microsoft's to-do list, it is very arduous. This definitely helps. This is identity survivability, a way to recover everything quickly, less painful as you can. Now, this is hybrid identity coverage. What I mean by that is, as you know, from our inventory, we've got Active Directory and Microsoft Entra ID. So the Rubrik Edge appliance protects the domain controllers, syncs the VM. Rubrik SaaS protection protects Entra ID objects, application, and policies. And this means that hybrid identity is protected and recoverable together. So if you rebuild Active Directory, you must reconcile cloud identity. Rubrik understands that linkage and makes it very, very easy to do. So what does this mean for leadership? Well, it means a reduced time to trusted identity, documented repeatable recovery processes, audit defensibility, no dependency on fragile runbooks that need to be updated all the time, and platform survivability. So Rubrik is hardened, immutable, and logically air-gapped, meaning that the data is also protected on the data layer. So if you ever read Microsoft documentation of full force recovery, you know how complex it is. Rubrik turns that into an orchestrated workflow. So the key takeaway from this lab is identity is recoverable, not just backed up. Risk is visible before it becomes an incident. Changes are attributable and reversible. Forced rebuild is automated and isolated. Hybrid identity is protected end-to-end. A proof of concept in your environment. Service real Active Directory misconfigurations. So service those misconfigurations with this tool. Run a time detection and rollback exercise. Execute a full force recovery rehearsal. And conduct an identity recovery workshop. This turns a demo into a measurable readiness. Thank you for joining the demo. Please reach out for any questions.